Hey everyone, this is Chad. Thanks for coming to Record Wargaming. Today we have a match between Miles and Mitch. Miles brought his White Scars, and Mitch brought his Ad-Mech. But before we get into this, if you could like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, join the Horde. Also check out our links down below. We have a link down there for the Renegade Open. It's a big tournament that's here in Minnesota. It's in November, so definitely check that out. Also, if you were in the Twin Cities metro area and you'd like to come in and get a game in with us and be featured in a battle report, we'd love to have you in and schedule that. We are currently looking for Age of Sigmar 3.0 players. So shoot me a message. And now, let's get into the show, folks. Here we go.
Ad-Mech deploys first. Alright. Tens or the ones?
I'll be the ones.
Alright, rolling for scenario.
32. 32, sweep and clear.
And what page is that on?
Page 50 and 51.
Sweep and clear. This is in the Grand Tournament 2021, page 50. In this mission, if you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase, it remains under your control unless your opponent controls it at the end of any subsequent phase, even if you have no models within range of it. Primary objectives. Victory points are awarded for controlling objective markers as follows. Take and hold, progressive objective. They control one or more objective markers. They control two or more objective markers. They control more objective markers than their opponent controls. This primary objective cannot be scored in the first battle round. In the fifth battle round, the player who has the second turn does not score any victory points at the end of their command phase. Instead, at the end of their turn, they score 5 victory points for each of the conditions they satisfy, for a maximum of 15 victory points. Secondary objectives. In this mission, when players are selecting their secondary objectives, they can, if they wish, choose for one of them to be direct assault. See below. Direct assault. Score 3 victory points if you control either the objective marker in the center of the battlefield or the objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone at the end of your turn, or 5 victory points if you control both of these objective markers at the end of your turn.
Oh, I'm Miles, and today I'm playing 2,000 points of White Scars. Starting over here, we have a unit of Outriders. Next to them is the Primaris Chaplain on bike. He has been upgraded to, he's the Warlord with the Wise Orator Warlord trait. And Master of Sanctity. Next we have 3 attack bikes with multi-meltas. In the back we have a Sicaran Omega tank destroyer with 2 las cannon sponsons. We have an Impulsor with a Sky Talon and Ray. Inside is a unit of 5 intercessors with assault bolt rifles and Kosaro Khan. We have another unit of 5 intercessors with auto bolt rifles. In this corner, we have a unit of 3 Inceptors with Plasma, a unit of 5 Vanguard Vets. Sergeant has Relic Blade and Graph Pistol. There are 2 with Storm Shield and Thunderhammers, and then the last 2 have Chain Swords and Bolt Pistols. Next to them, we have a Chapter Master on bike with Storm Shield and Thunderhammer. He has been given a Warlord trait, Chagorian Storm, which is after he finishes a charge move, he gets D3 additional attacks. And he's also equipped with the Plume of the Planesrunner, which adds 1 to my advance and charge rolls. Coming up on the midfield, we have a unit of 3 Blade Guard Veterans, just hanging out. And then a unit of 5 Incursors. No special things there. I spent 1 command point to have a unit of Eradicators encircle White Scar stratagem. And that is 2,000 points of White Scars.
Good evening, my name is Mitch. I will be playing 2,000 points of Adeptus Mechanicus. The Forge World is Stygies VIII. We'll be going from this way over here. We have an Ogren Dune Crawler equipped with the Icarus Sky Array. We have a unit of 2 Castellan robots, one with the punchy fists, the other one with the heavy phosphor blasters. Attached to them at the hip is the Data Smith, who is his power fist changed out for a relic, the Uncreator Gauntlet. Just south of him is the Skitarii Marshal, all in the middle field by himself. Right here we have the Cerberus Raiders, ready and raring to go. Unit of 3, equipped with a data tether. We have our first squad of 9 Rangers, equipped with a data tether and a transonic Oculus. Our second group of Rangers, equipped with the same. The only thing that's different is the Warlords. I forgot the Sergeants, my apologies. They are both equipped with radium pistols and power swords, but they also are equipped, the squad is equipped with transonic Oculus and galvanic rifles. Behind them is my Warlord, Tech Priest Dominus. He is a artisan. He has a eradication ray, and he's equipped with the relic, the Phos Phoenix. His Warlord trait is the Veiled Hunter, which allows me to move things into reserve. Behind him, starting with the group of Phosphor Hounds, and here we have a squad of 6 Phosphor Hounds. 2 are equipped with their Phosphor Blast carbines, the others are equipped with their dual Phosphor pistols. The Sergeant is equipped with a Shock Maul and Phosphor Blast pistol. Just beneath them is the Dune Rider. Inside the Dune Rider is one Tech Priest Dominus and a squad of Vanguards equipped with their radium carbines, and one with a Plasma Calivarn. The Sergeant is equipped with a Phosphor Blast pistol and a Shock Maul. Sliding over here, we have the Syrian Infiltrators, each equipped with a Taser Goad and a Stub Carbine. And behind them is the third and final Rangers squad, each equipped with their galvanic rifles, a data tether, one transonic Oculus, and the Sergeant is equipped with a shock pistol and a Taser Goad. And here we have a unit of 10 Praxi Sterilizers, each equipped with their Phosphor Torch, save the Sergeant, who's equipped with a stud carbine, flechette blaster, and a Taser Goad. The Archeo Stratoraptor is in reserve, equipped with twin las cannons on the back, heavy phosphor blasters, and the side sponson stubbers, heavy stubbers, and chaff launcher. And down below him is a group of 5 Rust Stalkers. They are equipped with their transonic blades, rather than just their razors, their chode claws, and the Sergeant is equipped with his transonic blade and chode claw. No data tether. And that is 2,000 points of Stygies VIII. And so, right nearing the end of the deployment phase, I used the stratagem for Stygies VIII clandestine infiltration, allowing me to move one of my squads of Rangers from my deployment zone anywhere in the battlefield that is at least 9 inches away from my enemy.
And it was these fine fellows right here. Right?
Yep, these lovely little gents.
Alright, rolling to see who's going to go first.
Looks like Ad-Mech is going first.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Alright. Ad-Mech,
First
turn
one.
1.
So in my command phase, the doctrine imperative that is active is the aggressor imperative. Plus 3 inches to my movement. The negative is they take -1 to their save. The Canticles of the Omnissiah that was turned on was Canticles of the Iron Soul, or the Incantation of the Iron Soul. Apologies. Combat attrition test is taken, is ignore any or all modifiers, and each time the model would lose a wound on a 5 up, I can ignore the wound from happening. And should I have the refuse to yield dogma, That turns from a 5 up to a 4 up. Decent turn of shooting. We've moved over here onto the field, moved up, shot. We've been able to slay one ancient and take out one squad of the White Scars. And looking for retaliation on turn 1 from my opponent. Yes, and a wonderful shot from the neutron laser onto the transport, dealing 6 damage. We're raising a banner here for the in the command point in our deployment zone, and we are prepared for retaliatory strike from the speedy White Scars.
End of White Scars turn 1. I did a lot of advancing, kind of just everywhere. I needed to put new bodies into the middle. I had the Eradicators encircle and infiltrate and do some plink damage onto the neutron laser Doomcrawler. I then put the Sicaran Omega into the Doomcrawler and the attack bikes into the Doomcrawler to finally take it out. The Intercessors shot up some Sulfur Hounds and did some damage. The Blade Guard veterans failed their charge. Intercessors, bikes, and the Impulsor shot and took down the Infiltrators down to the last man, or to 2. Outriders charged, killed 1, and the final one decided to save his skin and run away. I had the Chapter Master and the Vanguard Vets assault the Castle and Robots. We got rid of the punchy one, but one still stands. And the Data Smith, with his punchy fist, might come exact some vengeance. For end of turn scoring, I do have engage on all fronts for 3 points. I have a unit in all 4 table quarters. I did destroy 2 vehicles for Oaths of Moment. And I have a unit wholly within 6 inches of the center. And I did not fall back or fail a morale test.
What's the skinny with these guys over here?
They shot at the Doomcrawler and did some damage.
Now, how did they wind up over here?
Oh, they ended up back there with the White Scar Stratagem Encirclement, where I can come on any table edge after you within 6 inches of the edge and more than 9 inches away from the enemies.
Okay. And so this is one of the units that you were mentioning that took down the Doomcrawler.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
That is it for White Scars turn 1. On to Ad-Mech turn 2.
Command phase, I activated the Protector Imperative, which increases my ballistic skill by 1, decreases my weapon skill by 1. And activated Litany of the Electromancer, which for my Ad-Mech units, a -1 to their enemies hitting them. And it has been a productive turn this turn. We have shot. There's many Space Marines regretting stealing technology from the Adeptus Mechanicus. But we stayed locked in combat. We're going to stay there for as long as we can. I see we only lasting there 1 more turn before the robot is sadly lost and the Data Smith is rend asunder. We took out the plasma. What are they?
Inceptors.
The plasma inceptors with the devastating firepower of the Dune Crawler and a well-placed shot by the Arquebus that slayed him. These gentlemen were finished off with the combined firepower of the Raiders and the Rangers.
If you could scoot your dice tray just a little bit, because I can see the dudes. Okay, cool. So it's those 3 guys back there.
Yep.
They were killed off by who?
They were killed off by the Rangers and the Raiders. Combined firepower was able to bring them down. Over on this front, we had the Sulphur Hounds remove the Ancients. The Ranger squads fired into the Intercessors here, removing them all count down to 2. And the Snipers fired and slayed the Khan.
Where is he at?
The Khan is right here. And the final wound was dealt by the Tech Priest Dominus, leading this little front here. The Archaeoraptor took out the transport, took out 1 bike, or 2. Took out 2 bikes. No, he took out 1 bike. And then the combined firepower of the Vanguard squad eliminated the remaining 1. And over here, these lovely flying gentlemen were over here and burned a little bit of nothing and barely singed the chaplain. And that is the end of Ad-Mech. Turn 2.
Alright, here we go. White Scars. Is it turn 2?
Turn 2.
White Scars. Turn 2.
Alright, so end of White Scars turn 2. I had the Chapter Master and the Vanguard Vets fall back and charge into the Rangers, killing all of them. The Chapter Master is now locked in combat with the Marshal. We had the Intercessors advance onto the center objective with some fire support from the Sicaran. They killed the remaining Sulphur Hounds and dealt some damage to the Rangers. The Sicaran shot its plasma and last cannons at the Doomcrawler, bringing it down to 2 wounds. The attack bikes shot their bolters into the Sulphur Hounds and their multi-meltas into the Dune Rider, which died and exploded, dealing D3 mortal wounds to all units within 6 inches, which were the attack bikes, Chaplain, Intercessors, Sulphur Hounds, Rangers, and the Vanguard. So everybody took a little bit of damage. I had the remaining Intercessor charge the Vanguard. The Dominus heroically intervened. So we attacked the Dominus, dealing nothing. The Dominus swung back, killing the Intercessor.
That's right here, right?
Yep. And the Chaplain charged the Rangers, dealing nothing. Because Litany of Electromancer gave him -1 to hit. And he made all 3 of his invulnerable saves. And so I scored 2 points for engaging on 3 fronts. And a point for Oath's a Moment for destroying a vehicle. And 2 points for being within 6 inches of the center of the table. That is it for the bottom of turn 2. Next, turn 3, Adeptus Mechanicus.
And end of turn 3 for the Ad-Mech. The veteran squad was taken down by the Dune Crawler and the Raiders, and combined fire to ensure that they were done for so we could shoot at the biker captain. And the biker captain was finished off by the Tech Priest Dominus, my warlord. The Archaeoraptor fired its stubbers into the Intercessor squad, taking 1 and taking 1 to half, and then fired the remaining, its heavy phosphor blasters and its twin las cannons into the bike squad and took them down. These gentlemen here fired before the plane, took down the last wound on one bike. Tech Priest Dominus failed to shoot and kill anything, and the Rangers up over here were able to finish off the last Intercessor, and the Stygies Sterilizers were able to pump enough Promethium out of their flamethrowers to cleanse the Chaplain. I think it's a way he'd want to go. And that is the end of turn 3. Ad-Mech.
What do you guys have for points?
Currently at the end of, or middle of turn 3, White Scars has 5, 10, 15, 18 to 21 for Ad-Mech.
It's a nail biter. White Scars, turn 3. Here we go.
Alright, end of turn 3 White Scars. Not a whole lot to do considering we have 3 Intercessors and a Sakaran. We ended up killing the Datasmith. The Castellan and the Dunecrawler made all their invulnerable saves. And the Intercessors shot and fought some Rangers. But looks like that'll be it for White Scars. Didn't really sweep and clear very well.
What was the, what's the point?
Currently, at the end of round 3, 29 versus 21 for Ad-Mech. Alright, after end of turn 3, I'm gonna call it for Ad-Mech victory.
Marine guy. He's the Marines guy. He's Xenos guy.
Or like, oh yeah, I know a guy.
Well, and you hear me say that all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, for the low price of painting some of my miniatures, you know, I'll take care of somebody for you.
We might need to work some things out. I got some names. Chad, edit that part out.
So it was a rough showing for White Scars. Probably there's some tactical errors on my end, splitting my forces. Even though I've done the exact same thing in this scenario, on this mission, and told myself, don't split your forces, and I did it again. Otherwise, for units, I'm starting to not like the Outriders as much as when they first came out. They don't really, like, they usually just end up getting in someone's face, doing a little bit of damage, and falling over. Also, secondary objectives. Osa Moment did give me a lot of points. Engage on all fronts is good for White Scars because of their mobility, but trying out the updated version of Deploy Scramblers, the Retrieve Oculus Data, I never wanted to sit and have a unit do nothing for a turn. So that's probably something I need to re-look at for having a third secondary that's good for White Scar speed and melee. Otherwise, dice were kind of 50-50. A lot of failed saves, and a lot of made saves on Mitch's end, like the 666 invulnerable save to keep the the Doomcrawler alive?
It was to keep the Doomcrawler alive, and it was just like, ah! I flinched away from the dice a little bit, and like, oh my god, it's triple sixes. It's like, it's not dead!
Yep.
Doomcrawler that
And it
just sat
didn't help
back
that all
there.
your 6 saves wound up on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time I dropped the dice, it turned to a 6, so that's where all my
Yeah.
6s went.
Like, the Doomcrawler sat there, like, I didn't move it at all during the turn, and I could have moved it. I could have easily moved it because it kept on getting shot at by your tank there. Which, lovely tank, absolutely scary. Like, I didn't really see you put it behind the shipping containers, and then your turn 1, you brought it out there, I'm like, crap.
Yep.
I don't have the biggest gun anymore.
Yep. Ad-Mech did what it does, what it's really good at, and that is shooting. Shooting, and more shooting. They have really high rate of fire, and even like the basic rangers they're equipped with bolt rifles that the Marines have. Literally the same thing. Strength 4, AP -1, 1 damage, 30-inch range. And for 8 points a guy versus 20 points a guy, or 16, it's not comparable. Like,
It's a bit one-sided, and I can see why they changed it from Rapid Fire 2 to Heavy 2
yep.
in this edition. And this is first time back in 9th, and I was looking at, because I didn't have the book right when it came out, so I was looking at the 8th edition codex, trying to get worked up for it, and then started going over, and it's like, oh, this is heavy now. And then I looked over at my Space Marine codex, my Dark Angels, and it's like, wait, that's better. And with them there having something that's comparable to a Space Marine, and then moving in a turn, having the imperative that gives you the +1 to ballistic skill up, and then, okay, so you've eliminated the negative of moving with the heavy weapons, now you can fire in extremely close range. It was, my Rangers kind of moved, and honestly, your turn 1, I was like, I was very scared. Your turn 1, you came around and there was everything, and it was up in my face. A lot of heavy stuff. It was end of turn 2, going into turn 3, or if it was where you had fallen back right in front of the Ranger squad, right in front of my deployment zone. I was pretty worried. I was pretty worried, and I was going through my cards and like, okay, I know it's here, I know it's here, I know it's here. Yes, it's here! And it's just this one right here that I forgot to put away. The Machine Spirit Resurgent. If I hadn't had the command points to do it, and if I hadn't found it, I probably didn't have the shoot. I would have probably had to take the Stratoraptor and pounded it in there, and then that would have left your attack bikes open to Melta. Because this squad wasn't going to be, these squads over here weren't going to be able to put up any sort of punishment to take on what you had over here.
Yeah, I know attack bikes with multi-melters are really strong. They're comparable or even better than Eradicators in some instances. So this is the first time I used incursors. The forward deployment is nice, but they just got shot up and ate some fire, and that was it. I probably should have put them in the building versus next to it on the objective. But that was mostly like, hey, if I get turn 1, that's great. I get more points right away, and then I can move them off. Because of the scenario, the objective is mine until he comes and takes it. I mean, they're 100 points for 5, or 105 points for 5. I don't know if they absorb that amount of shooting right away.
The Vanguard are 190 points. Including the, sorry, not the Vanguard. The Sulfur Hounds that were initially shooting at them are 190 points. They absorbed the entirety of their shooting. And then I had to bring in other squads, other rangers that I had plopped around here just to finish them off. Now, for deployed, yeah, if they were in the building, I would have had a heck of a lot harder time killing them, but I also wouldn't be as hard pressed as he's trying to take the command point. No, or the objective. Command point, objective, kind of the same thing. But trying to take the objective, I would have been hard pressed. We fought, the most blood was spilled was right here. The entire match.
Yeah, Khan getting sniped before doing anything didn't help.
That's why I bring the transonic Ocubuses in my ranger squads. Like, it's expensive. It's stupidly expensive. But if I have the chance to shoot at a character, I'm doing it.
Yep. And that was probably another tactical error of getting them out of the impulsor right away. Probably should have let them go somewhere else. But this is first time for everything. Make mistakes, learn from them. Vanguard Vet Squad, you know, it's not the almost optimal build. It's a build I built them middle of 8th edition when you wanted them mixed. So having some anti-horde attacks with anti-vehicle attacks mixed in the same squad. I do want to get more and then divide them, so then you have the heavy hitters and then the blender.
Yeah, that is, it was, had you had another squad of just, here's my blender, it's coming over here, here's my heavy-handed fist of Gork or Mork to take on the vehicles, my Castellan robots, it would have been even harder pressed to push back with anything that I had. And the one thing that I'm probably going to get is another pick up another set of infiltrators. Might run them as a 10-man squad, might keep them as just 2 separate 5-man squads of denial, because you don't get to re-roll right when you're next to HQ choices that allow you to do that. And turn 1, they can be anywhere up to 9 inches away from someone's deployment zone, so you could effectively, if they're in the right cover, deny someone their turn 1.
Yep. Shut off the chapter master, captain, dominus, aura of anything.
I can honestly see it being pretty, because I've watched some battle reports with sisters. I think it'd be pretty lethal against them too, because they get re-rolls from some of their characters.
Yeah, and like every faction has characters that give you re-rolls, some more than others. But from a list standpoint, yeah, I think ditch the Outriders, take more Vanguard Vets, because they're roughly the same. The unit of 3 Outriders is 150 points. Probably don't need the Chapter Master on bike, probably just a Chaplain on bike, Con, and maybe a Lieutenant, possibly with a jump pack, because then he can run around with the Vanguard Vets, giving them reroll of wound rolls of 1. That's if you have chainswords, but Lightning Claws get free rerolls. It seems more and more that this edition is leaning further and further away from large vehicles, or like the Sikaran and Land Raiders, Predators.
Oh, the larger the vehicle, the easier the target. Especially, just gonna look out to the terrain that Chad put up for us. Had this been flat, I would have been more attacking at your tank. If it wasn't for the hill, your Sikaran?
Yeah.
Your Sikaran sticks out like a sore thumb. Same thing with the Land Raider. They're big, they're bulky. I think what Games Workshop tried to do is make it more of a tactical game. They're taking it and making it a smaller, faster pace tactical game, drawing a little bit of inspiration from their creation. Don't worry, it'll come to me in about 5 minutes. It'll be all right.
Well, and I think you're right too there, because shrinking the board size definitely changes things. It might not seem like that big of a deal. So, like with this particular board, like I said, you know, side to side, that extra 4 inches is there, but there's a foot missing off at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just getting rid of that foot really does make a difference.
Yeah.
Was it beep on your watch, or was it me?
That was mine.
Oh, okay. Sometimes the thing beeps to say to do different things.
The terrain, I can't stress enough how the terrain changed the battle, because if it was just, alright, we're on a level playing field or we're in a bowl. Well, if we're in a bowl, my rangers are just going to sit on the outside and just, alright, what moved?
Yeah.
And putting you in a bowl, honestly, we just had to put it into a sphere, then you could just sit there and ride the bikes and do melee. But,
also, like, I do think, I mean, there is some power creep with codices that have come out. Like, if you just looked at Death Guard, followed by Dark Angels, followed by Drukhari, followed by Ad-Mech, followed by Sisters, that, like, everything that's come out has been slightly better than the previous, with the first codex being Space Marines. They're kind of getting just outclassed. Everything does their job better, even though they're supposed to be the, like, end-all be-all super soldier.
So, thematically, yes.
Yeah.
Going from lore-wise, Space Marines are supposed to be absolute killers. Best at everything. However, in the tabletop, they're good at everything.
Yeah.
They're good all around. They're not fast attack. They are not heavy-hitting arsenal. They're not a surprise infiltrator. They're good at absolutely everything, and that tactical diversity that the Space Marines have, and the list is the same. The codex for Space Marines is practically the same size as the core rulebook.
Yep.
And that's mostly units. Whereas Ad-Mech, Sisters, Drukhari, the codex supplements themselves are super thin. So they're laser focused. The newer armies, the newer codexes are laser focused at a principle, where Space Marines, the world is your oyster. Yes, I desire to fancy that. And it's an outrider. Oh, that didn't really work out this time. Well, no problem. Pull out. Here's a big tank. Ah, that works perfectly. And you can sit there and just have a Swiss Army knife of extra weapons, war gear, vehicles, absolutely everything at your disposal in Space Marines. Granted, they are a bit over cost considering the going back to the bolter and the Galvanic rifle. A little bit over cost for how it is comparatively and how it works. But in the long run, I think it's fairly balanced. There's a few things I would change about my list. The squads I felt were a little bit too big, a little bit clunky, because I used to run it where I had the 2 special weapons with the 10-man. It's perfect for me because I could have 2 sniper rifles just sitting back there with 60-inch range of, oh look, there's a character. I get 2 shots instead of 1. I do like that they changed it to having 1 per every 10, now that I've played it, because it's the same thing. I just get 1 less dice. So, and your list, refinement, and you were an excellent challenge. The way that you brought it to the table, and you didn't really stop going. You went until there was nothing left to go or give. You made me earn what I got here tonight. That was fantastic in my opinion. It's a great first game in 9th edition. Thank you.
No problem.
Right on. Alright, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, join the horde, and we will see you in the next one.